I always say what's more important about Fox News is not what they're telling you, but what they're not telling you. And this clip is a perfect example of that. The topic here is the so-called Cadillac health insurance plan. The original plan of the Democrats was to tax them. The problem with this clip is you have the typical Fox News fair and balanced discussion. You have Neil Cavuto, who's an extremely conservative moderator. You have a panel of 4 people. 3 of them are conservatives, 1 of them's a liberal, and watch the liberal get drowned out. So you don't get a balanced perspective in this discussion. And I'll just throw out one example. Many of these workers with the Cadillac plans work in very dangerous industries like coal mining. It explains why they have high cost plans. Of course, you'll never hear that mentioned in this discussion because it's not fair and balanced. Enjoy.
Next, more on Haiti with Cavuto on Business.
The U.S. scrambling to get 10,000 troops to Haiti by Monday before despair and desperation erupts into all-out violence. We're going to have a live update from the region in just a few minutes. And former Ambassador John Bolton will be joining us. Count him as someone very, very worried. All the money we are giving to the Haitian government isn't exactly going to make its way to the Haitian people. First to Washington, and unions driving away with health care reform tax-free. The White House cutting a deal with unions that would delay taxes on Cadillac health plans until the year 2018. Everyone else, well, pay up right away. And count a lot of us, well, fed up. Hi, everybody. Glad to have you. I'm Neil Cavuto. Let's get reaction now for Ben Stein, Charles Payne, Dagan McDowell, and Adam Lashinsky. Charles, what do you think of this?
I think it's crazy. Government work, union workers are getting richer. The government's getting larger. The unions played a big role in all of this, and yet they inherit auto companies. And what happened to shared sacrifice, particularly from the unions? And I think this is going to totally, really, at some point, really harm them even more with the average person on the main street, because what happened to the solidarity? It's just gone.
I don't know. If you are a union, I think the real strategy here was to encourage union membership. And if you could tell, Dagan, your prospective members and those you're trying to recruit, hey, tax-free health care here, I don't know.
It was the most disgraceful political handout and the most outrageous symbol of favoritism that maybe anybody has ever seen in this country. And
well, no, actually giving me an anchor job was a good example of that, but continue.
But who's going to end up paying for it? People who choose to work in union-free environments and companies. And if you just look at the percentage of people who are in the private sector who work for unions, this is a very small percentage. It's less than 7% of the American workforce is in a union.
They just got a mighty big pass. And Adam Lashinsky, that's what this is going to resonate with the American people. Are going to say, whoa, whoa, whoa. I mean, how did these guys just got off on this one?
Well, if we're gonna make sweeping generalizations, a big generalization here is that these unions gave things up along the way to get these health plans that they have now.
What did they give up?
That's their
argument.
What did they give up? They made pay concessions, for example. There were various terms in their contracts where they said, we'll agree to X, but we want a Y kind of a health plan.
And the American people have not already made enormous pay concessions, a lot of them through lost pay, lost jobs, period. So they're not given the same treatment?
Well, in fact, I mean, we're talking about politics here, and in fact,
really?
Yeah, they didn't have an agreement, and this is a political bloc that did. I mean, I don't know if this is any kookier than one senator who has a passion on the abortion issue who's able to turn the whole legislation his way to get his vote. This is the way the political system works. I don't think it's hypocritical of the unions, certainly, to try to protect their members. But the
difference with trying to buy off Ben Nelson and one vote in Nebraska is very different than essentially trying to appease an entire group near and dear to the Democratic Party. And Ben Stein, that's what this comes back to, this idea that when the president comes out and says, I'm trying to get past business as usual and cuts a deal like this, it strikes me very much as business as usual.
It's exactly business as usual. Now, I, unlike Adam, I suspect, am a member of several unions, so I love unions. But Of course, it's a Democratic administration. It's an ultra-left-wing Democratic administration. It's the most left-wing Democratic administration there's ever been. Of course they're going to favor the unions. It's just, as Adam so aptly said, it's just politics. Us guys who are high-income people are going to pay. Small business owners are going to pay. Small business owners, as usual in this whole administration, are going to get kicked in the teeth. That's the way this administration works. Small businessmen tend to be Republicans. They get kicked in the teeth. Union members tend to be Democrats, tend to vote for Obama. They're going to get
kicked in the teeth to the tune of $60 billion because the tweaks to this plan, it reduces the revenue, and it raises the issue of, all right, 5-year delay. Well, why not make it 10 or 20 or just forever?
There was a union official on, Charles, saying, look, we are going to pay. In 2018, we're going to pay.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, all right, it's 8 years from now. We don't even know what happens 8 days from now. I don't even remember what I did 8 hours ago. And yet we're going to have 8 more Super Bowl champions. We're going to have 8 more World Series champions. We could have 1, maybe 2 more presidents. And we're going to set in stone something that we're sure is going to happen in the year 2018.
This has been kicked down the road far enough for them to know to come up with something else, some other reason or excuse not for them not to pay. And again, I think you made a great point with respect to the recruiting aspect of this. That is, I think that is a great point.
And we can TiVo that.
I think it's going to backfire though. You got 27 million people underemployed.
If I could temper my friends with your cynicism here, they could have written an exemption in, and they probably could have gotten that in. They could have said, we will never pay this.
Unions will never pay this out.
I agree. They will never pay it. They will never pay it. I agree.
But you're just guessing. I mean, I respect your opinion.
No, we're not
but
guessing.
The legislation says they will pay.
2018, Adam. It's 2018. It out in 2018. You know, I could be doing those gold coin commercials. 2018. I probably shouldn't say that. You know what I'm saying? My point is that I'm not far off the map.
That was a good one.
So I'm just saying here that look. We know what the deal is, and the way I've heard this justified, Adam, from very astute progressives like yourself, is that, look, we know the making sausage part might kind of gross you out, but you'll like the sausage and pepper hoagie when you get it. And maybe we will, but let's acknowledge that the process is pretty flawed.
Absolutely no argument. Look, the president needs votes in the Congress. There's certain votes that he wouldn't get without making a compromise with the unions. His political calculus is he wants this bill. He wants the extra number of Americans ensured that the bill will get. And, like it or dislike it, this is a president who has shown that he wants to get things done, and he's getting grief from every angle for wanting to get things done.
He's getting grief.
I kind of feel like giving him a pat on the back for it.
For a big, fat $60 billion check with a big red bow on it that's been handed to the unions. And who else is going to get hit with the cost? It is the people who work for companies and aren't in unions, and it's going to make this thing
Adam,
disastrous.
The reason he's getting hit is he set himself up to be hit. You make a lot of promises. You talk about the shared sacrifice and how we're all in this together when me and my buddies aren't in this together. That's what hurts people a lot.
He's getting something done that he wants done, that Rahm Emanuel wants done, but the American people don't want it done. They didn't ask to have all these bloody sausage parts put on their breakfast plate. They want to keep things pretty much as they are.
Actually.
This is what... No, they did not. No, they did not.
All right, well, we're not going to go into the sausage or anything. All right, we got a lot more coming up here. We're going to have a live update from Haiti. America already pledging, get this, already $100 million in aid. And already questions rising as to whether the money will get to the people who need it most. Former UN Ambassador John Bolton joins us.
But in general, I don't think that corporations should be giving. Let individuals give. They are the owners of the share of the companies, and they should give the wealth. If you're talking about, for example, the financial institutions who've been beat on by Washington lately, if they give and they do so in a very public way, are they doing that for humanitarian reasons, or are they doing that to further entrench
management? But would you make an exception in this guy? I mean, generally, I understand your rule, but this is an exceptional case.
No.